And the next question I have for you, do you see the day when the real dream that Martin Luther King had comes to reality, where all men, all women, all children will stand together on a hilltop holding hand in hand?
I tell you the truth, I have been so disappointed, and not in Obama, but in the people who should be manifesting the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. dream. You know, Reginald, just to hear you call his name, since Obama, nobody even talks about Dr. King. I don't know if you've noticed that, but here in America, Dr. King used to be the center of attraction, and rightly so among African-American people and a large segment of America in general. But since Obama, he has been swept, kicked, if you will, to the curb. His ideas and his dreams seem so immature, and you can see it in the. I live here in Harlem among black people, and I see it on television. I see it when I walk the streets. People have forgotten about Dr. King, and they're now worshiping this Hitler called Obama. So do I believe that the day will come? I can tell you now, I pray that it will, but it looks very dismal at present. People have forgotten those words. They don't even talk about Dr. King anymore. And this man has only been around for a year. He has swept. I heard Cornel West, who is professor at Princeton University, I think, of black religious studies or something of that nature, a fairly well-noted black leader, social activist, who stated that since Obama, most black leaders are now marginalized and don't even have a voice anymore. This is absolutely incredible. So I pray that it will happen one day. It looks bleak.
And for listening audience, I've always mentioned about the fact that I lived in exile in the United States of America for almost 5 years of my life. I wrote something that really got some people in Alberta angry with me. I wrote about the rise of the Fourth Reich, and they didn't like that. So I'd spend time down in the United States. And my wife and I ended up down in the city of Las Vegas, Nevada, of all places to end up. And the people aren't familiar with the motto for the state is Battle Born. I remember that when we first arrived, there was an Afro-American gentleman there, and I told him what we've gone through and everything, and he turned to me and he said, because of the color of your skin, you'll be okay. And I'm looking at the gentleman, I'm going, excuse me? And being someone that, you know, I don't want to judge someone on outward appearance. I want to judge a person on their thoughts, on their heart. That's what we should be doing it. And that's what makes me so sad is when I keep on seeing the atrocities of humanity being repeated again and again and again. And to the point, you know, it makes you kind of sick there, Pastor. But you know, I believe in the human spirit within us is that we have to rise above it. And what happens is you were talking. One of your videos talked about the stock market fraud. And I'd like to quickly point to the fact that AIG, we had a past guest on and talked about AIG used to be it still is, a cover for the CIA over in Asia. I was also told in 2004 by a gentleman who used to be involved with California trading that the housing price was going to crash and the bubble was going to burst. So, you know, I've heard an awful lot of information from different people, different groups that talked about this fraud happening. Have you found out any more information on different groups that may have been involved that, you know, you might wish to share with the listening audience right now?
No, but I don't have any more concrete information, and anything I say along this issue, the stock market fraud, AIG, the present state of the American stock market, Securities Exchange, the Federal Reserve, the Treasury, all of these things. But let me just share this. There is a plan afoot at present, looking at the present state of the economy here in America. The stock market has become a tool of the Obama administration. I'm not sure whether or not he is the one who instigated this, but I do think that when you look at people like Alan Greenspan and you look at the owner of Berkshire Hathaways, I forget his name right now, God, he's a gazillionaire investor. I can't think of his name right now for the name of me, but for the life of me. But anyway, they have come out over the last couple of months when the stock market here in America has risen 34% in just a couple of months from what it was at the end of February. And that is because there is manipulation within the market to bring people back into the market, to pump looking into it, but it's all a farce. It is nothing more than a farce. That much I'm very much assured of. The Treasury Department, Ben Bernanke, who's in charge of the Securities Exchange Commission, they're all manipulating the minds of people and the market is how that's being done. While the economy is still tanking, unemployment is still skyrocketing, people are still out of jobs. We're facing the worst times we've ever faced economically, yet the Obama administration is using the stock market in that regard. So, yeah, whether or not AIG is a part of the CIA administration, it would be a perfect cover because AIG goes into every nation on the planet and with the guise of trying to give fuel and give structure for businesses. So I can certainly appreciate that being a possibility.
And my co-host has a quick question to ask you.
No, I don't.
Okay, I guess my co-host doesn't have a question. I do apologize that we only have a couple minutes left there, Pastor. Could you leave us with some contact information just in case the listening audience wish to ask you some questions that we didn't cover?
Yeah. The name of the person I was trying to think of just a moment ago is Warren Buffett. That's who I was trying to call the name of. Alan Greenspan. Warren Buffett is the president of Berkshire Hathaway, is this mega trillion-dollar investment firm. Yeah. In order to contact our ministry, you can do so at ATLAH.org. That's ATLAH.org. And once you go into our site, there's a zillion things that you can find and do and find out about us. Of course, you can email us. Once you get into the site, there'll be a place where you can email, ask questions, and we'll try to respond to them as well. So, but it's ATLAH, ATLAH.org.
And also, Pastor, we have about 2 minutes left, but I wanted to quickly touch on something I read on your website. Is that you come from a background when you were a youth, you were in trouble with the law, and you're able to overcome it. Could you leave some last words with the listening audience to tell them how they can overcome the obstacles within their life and able to create a better world for themselves and everyone else?
I became very delusioned at back in the 60s. Actually started in the late 60s, 69, 70, and by the time I reached 72, 73, 1972, 73, I had given up on America, and those days were days of great upheaval. The war in Vietnam, there was social unrest, there was the death of Dr. King had happened a few years earlier. At any rate, and I found myself in prison for crimes that I'd done because I wasn't working, so I started stealing, and that's what I did. And I was arrested for it and sentenced. But I asked Almighty God to help me turn my life around, and He absolutely did. And the thing that has kept me more so than anything else is that I came back into the community of a community like Harlem where there's so many young men just like me, the same anger that I had, and I'm working in the community. And Reginald, I'll say this to your audience: the best way to once having gone astray, to make sure you don't ever repeat that again, is to go and help people who were once like you by continually seeing yourself in other people every day. It reminds you how you must stay on focus. And the other thing is that a person such as yourself, and I sense in these brief moments I've had with you, that obviously you want to help people. You're concerned about injustice at every level, and you truly want to. And I spoke also about someone who must be willing to sacrifice, and I know that you would probably put your neck on the chopping block in order to be able to help people, to bring them the truth. That is what keeps us focused. That's what keeps me focused, and it'll keep anybody who's been in trouble, who's lost their way. Get out there and start helping people that have also lost their way, and you'll find that you rise to great heights.
Well, thank you, Pastor. Yeah, my wife and I have truly done that. We don't have any more time left to get into that, but we're definitely going to have to get you back on as a guest, hopefully in probably about August or September sometime, and to allow you more time to talk. We do apologize. We had technical problem with our equipment here. We had to go the old-fashioned way of putting the mic right up to the phone. But, when we get you back on, we hope to have the equipment working better at that time. But you've been very informative, and thank you so much. That was Pastor James David Manning from ATLAH Ministry out of New York. It is Co-op Radio 102.7 FM, CFRO, Monday Brown Bagger.